Hi there, it's Mr. Clark. Welcome to lesson 10.4.4 on continuous variations. So, because these pieces tend to be longer, I'm not going to play one and go through it. Just want to kind of talk about what you might expect to find and then set you loose to explore some of this on your own. So, a set of variations is a very common way to structure a piece. In fact, many of your composition projects up to this point have been themes and variations. So depending on the piece, what is varied might be a melody, bass line, harmonic progression, or something more abstract. We're going to look here at the continuous variation structure coming from the Baroque era. Continuous variations repeat a short bass line or harmonic progression, usually just a phrase or two, and variations flow directly from one to the next. This is in contrast to sectional variations, which we'll look at in the next lesson. There are fancier terms that are often applied to pieces written as continuous variations. You might see ground bass, you might see passacaglia, or chaconne. These words in practice are all interchangeable and have been used interchangeably by various composers. As a rule of thumb, a ground bass or a passacaglia is more likely to have a repeating bass line, which can then be reharmonized with different chords, whereas a chaconne is more likely to have a repeating harmonic progression, which could change bass line. But this isn't always the case. Different composers use the words to mean different things. And really what's important is that you actually look at the piece in question and figure out what's going on. Variations on the theme or the bass line or the harmonic progression will often, but not always, fall into some of these categories. You might see modal variations that change the mode of a theme, often to relative or parallel major or minor. Could be a more exotic mode, could be Dorian, Mixolydian, something else. Metric variations change the meter, often between simple and compound. Figural variation just ornaments the melodies, adds some more non-chord tones, embellishes it in a specific way. You look for repeating types of non-chord tones. Like if you see a whole bunch of cambiata figures, a whole bunch of upper neighbor tones, that could indicate you're in a figural variation. A chromatic variation adds chromatic embellishment. You have notes outside the key. That one's pretty straightforward. Textural variations change the texture of the music. You could add or subtract some voices or instruments depending on, if it's for orchestra or something. Increasing or decreasing the rhythmic intensity, something like that. Polyphonic or contrapuntal variations usually have some sort of imitative entry where you hear something in one voice and then it kind of gets repeated in another voice. You might also have timbral variations that feature a change in timbre and orchestration. Doesn't really work if you're writing for solo keyboard, but if you're writing for multiple instruments, then this is definitely a thing. Have an instrument come in or out, have it do something wildly different. So go forth, analyze some variations, figure out what's going on, and I'll see you next time.